Hello guys, I'm very excited today because I came home today from and I went to a little outing with my family, got some bubble tea, but then I noticed there was a package waiting for me at the front of our residence, and so yeah, obviously I'm expecting to unbox this Diansheng FTO. I've been chosen to test it by Diansheng, and I'm extremely excited. Yeah, so I just want to get into it and tell you guys how good this puzzle is, or like if there are flaws in it, then we'll see. So they sent it in a cute little package. It's like a little deformed rectangular box, but it's a cute, classic Diansheng cat, I guess, is like their mascot, and then Chris Choi. That's like the last thing I'd want to do with the puzzle. All right. Okay, that's very exciting. Look at that. I can't believe this is actually happening. This is literally so surreal. Unbox this puzzle first. Okay, let's take a careful look at this box. So this is the design. This is like the original sort of promotional design that they featured in like one of the first posts. It like showcases the little the visible magnets in each of these triangles. Oh yeah, so there's something interesting. It says like galaxy cluster. I don't know what that means, if that's like the name of the puzzle. Oh my god, this is such a mess. It's not very obvious how to open it, but sure. Alright, it's wrapped in that classic plastic they give for the testers. Okay, it is very small. What the heck? Well, actually, okay, I'm very curious. Okay, so there's nothing else in the box. Okay, I've seen teasers of this instructional guide, but yeah, it showcases a very weird method. Like, certainly something I've never seen before. I guess you start here. It shows like the different piece types. Okay, yeah, so there's 3 piece types for the puzzle. There's the actually, okay, first let me take this out first. Oh my god, oops, I don't want to drop this. Whoa, it's kind of greasy. I don't want to make first turns yet, but look at that. It is so shiny. It's like low-key like UV coated or something. What the heck? Damn. I'm gonna have to get used to this color scheme as well. I'm not... Everyone has like a different color scheme for FTO. Okay, so there's 3 piece types. There's the corners, obviously corners because they're at the corner and they have 4 colors. And then there's the triangles. They only have 1 color, so they're sort of analogous to like a center of a 3x3. And then finally you have the edges, and each of them have 2 colors in there, and they're located at the edge. You guys can look more into this if you guys want. It's a very interesting method, but I would just recommend everyone learn Ben Cisco method, which Ben Puzzles teaches it over at his channel. Okay, let's go to the actual puzzle. Well, okay, first, before we turn, let's do size comparisons. Okay, do you guys see that? Look at that. It's like a full centimeter tinier or something. Let's see, compared to the Lan. It's like half a centimeter, so it's a bit... So I guess the Lan already is like a bit smaller than RexTO, which makes sense because this was made by 3D printing parts that sort of go on top of the pieces of the Chi Rex cube or the Super Ivy cube. So it, like, because you're sort of extending the puzzle, extending an already existing puzzle already, it's sort of hard to make that compact, nice and compact. Okay, I just want to get into the turning for now. So, oh, interesting. That's really smooth. What the heck? Wow. That is really good. Oh my god, what the heck? Okay, it's pretty tight, which I actually do prefer. I really don't dislike the triangles popping. Okay, interesting. Interesting, wow. I actually quite like this. Okay, first, let me get acquainted with this color scheme. So, here's how, so all 3 of these FTOs, their color schemes differ, right? Here, the 3 adjacent colors to white are blue, red, and purple. Yeah, I'm gonna have to get adjusted to this complete from scratch. Let's see how the corner twisting. Oh wow, you cannot. So if you didn't know, it's actually really easy to corner twist on this. Like it's like almost as if it's designed for it, but you're not allowed to do that, I guess, for official solves. Here you can't do that at all, which is comforting, I guess. Okay, I think I got it. And then yellow is obviously opposite from white. So yeah, so I guess it makes it easier to scramble because here it was a bit ambiguous where to scramble. You could scramble, like this is how I usually scrambled, with green on the like sort of front left and red on the front right. But typically for all events, you want to scramble with white on top and green in front. And now you can actually do that because white's on top here and green's in front here. So it's very simple. Okay, let me just do a quick hand scramble and then see how fast I can solve this. Let's look at the magnets. So here, technically this is magnetized. I tried my best to magnetize it with like Energy 2s, but you basically cannot feel it at all. There's like no, it basically feels as if there's no magnets in this puzzle. Here's how it looks like here. It's pretty cool because, this is like it's already stickerless itself, so you can like sort of see colors for each triangle. But this, if I recall correctly, actually has black internals, with the cap sort of superficially placed on the outside. So yeah, it's like a much more uniform look. And look at these magnets. I don't think, it doesn't look like they're adjustable, but you can definitely see them. And oh yeah, you can definitely feel them as well. Okay, yeah. This is so interesting. What the heck? Okay. So I time this? Nah. I'll sort of go through how I solve it. I won't time it. Okay, so I see this. I mean, this is kind of a lucky scramble because I just hand scramble, but I believe blue goes here. So I basically treat this like a green, I guess? Yeah, okay. So blue goes here, and so I could just do that. And then, so now I match this triangle with this edge, this red, white edge, and then I solve that. So now that that's solved in the correct order. And then next I solve two triples. So here's one triple that I want to solve, match the blue with this. So like that, and then the last triple. I can't see any good solutions, so I guess blue would have to match up with this one. Purple, and then insert that. Okay, so now I want to solve the three triangles. So basically Yao sort of, right, for this part of the step. I guess like this. Okay, so I'm gonna be solving this gray center, and I see that blue, it's like blue-red, which in the normal scheme is the right order. So you actually want to swap these. You want to basically solve them flipped. So this, and then put yellow on the top, and then next I think it was orange if I remember correctly. So I think I remember that. And then let's see. So it's blue and purple, which we do want. So that's good. Okay. And oh, we have a triple already made for us right here. So normally you would have to make this on its own, sort of like the last cross edge step of Yao. That. Okay, so I learned full TCP recently, so I want to see if I can recognize this case. Yeah, so obviously, so next we want to do the pair formation. I haven't learned full OPF, but I do plan on learning that soon. But this is very simple. It's just a single flip, and because I don't care about like avoiding two flip because I already know the allos, I just do that sledge and then pair that. So we have that paired, and that paired. Okay, so let's recognize the case first. Firstly, we see that this is the same and these are two swapped. So that means it's going to be one of the odd ones. And then, so we look at the AUF for where the triangle has to go to get here. So the blue one's here and you have to do a U AUF. And let's see, U AUF. Oh, and you also look what direction the center corners have to go. So they U AUF, and it also goes clockwise, right? Because this has to go here. So you do the AUF, rotate, and then do the ALG. So it's like this. That. Yeah, there you go. There you go. Solved. That was extremely pleasant. No locks at all. This puzzle is amazing. I'm so happy they finally made an FTO. The last mass-produced one was literally this Land from like, I think 2009 or 2010 or something like that. So it's been quite literally like 15 years since we had a fresh hardware update. Yeah, and it's like so loud, my old one, because it's all the pieces rattling against each other. But here, it's so quiet, right? And there's no shaking. There's no rattling. And there's rattling because there's like a little hex node inside. Nothing. Also nothing here, but this puzzle sucks. So. Alright, I can't wait to do some solves on this. So far, it's extremely promising. Everyone here definitely should get it. It's probably going to be like, if I had to guess, like $18, $19 on the cubicle. Probably similar price for SES. And very thankful to Diansheng for them to have chosen me to test this. I'm very glad to have been chosen, and this puzzle makes me really want to do like 1,000 solves on it, you know. It will take a bit to get used to the color scheme, but honestly, like, you know, it's like not even that different from mine, so like, I feel like I'm pretty used to it already. But I wanted to do a little bit of a deep dive into the different mechanisms for each puzzle, and especially focusing on this new Diansheng. Before we do that, let's look at one triangle. So triangle is the one with one color on it, and here's sort of the magnet mechanism inside. So the one that's visible is the one that's sort of opposed to the corner that has the tracks on them. It's like that. And then here are the two magnets adjacent to it that are sort of glued on. And the cap, as you can see, comes off fairly easily. I didn't have to do too much prying. So if you want to change color scheme, okay, so the issue with changing the color scheme is that not only do you have to take the center caps out, but you also have to take the edge and the corner ones. And I believe it's not that difficult to get the corner ones out, but then to actually separate them from each other is a bit more difficult. Let's see, how do I do that? Yeah, okay, so there, I easily took it out, but there's like an interlocking mechanism that sort of makes it pretty difficult to just easily pry it. Like, I'm not really able to see how I would be able to separate these. And here's how it looks like inside. So each of these are visible. So when we start with this one first, it's hollow inside, and it's like a very simple, you know, design. This is the first innovation that was made. Qi, when they designed a Rex cube, they, you know, accidentally designed the mechanism for an FTO as well, because they're technically the same puzzle, except that was sort of like rotated on a corner, and then the puzzle's extended from there. So it has a screw to hold it together. I mean, the design's like very different. Here, like this, like the feet of the puzzle, and then this 3D printed part just attaches right to it. This new puzzle has a much more simplified design, has like a large contact area here, and has like very small feet, I guess, very small track, but they're pretty similarly sized. So these two are pretty similar, and this one's just completely different. So, and the magnet here, there's only one magnet, and the magnet was made sort of here. This is there's one magnet in the same position, but it also has two magnets on the side, which is what you're supposed to be doing. Okay, so those are the triangles. Okay, so here are the three edges. Yeah, this edge shape looks really interesting. So yeah, so this is the first iteration. There's also a screw here, but as you can see, it's like, once again, hollow on the inside, and the track is just very angular, not much speed solving potential there. Then for the Rex TO, there's like an extra foot here. This is what a lot of 3x3s have. There's like an extra, you know, divot for the pieces to interlock, and it's sort of like a stem, whereas you don't really see that short stem going on here. And of course the 3D printed part latches on right to the bottom of this foot. And then for this one, you have like a tiny stem in the middle there, and it's even more optimized for speed. You have like some divots here. You have like, you know, a bit angular like a footing that like curves inward like that. So here are the three corners. This one's very angular. There's like hollowness in the middle, a screw attached to it, and not much speed solving potential here. So for this, it doesn't look too different. Here's where the ball bearing is. So the Rex TO originally came with the ball bearings, but then I believe in Ryan Hudgens' video, in his tutorial, he advised people to take the ball bearings out. So that's why you just see these gaps, these empty holes. And yeah, but this is like a fairly standard design. This part is, so these two, both these parts are 3D printed, and they go right onto this piece. Whereas it's like very smooth here. Yeah, and then this one, okay, this is very interesting. So it's the foot is a lot smaller. Yeah, like, so it's like very hard to even compare. Like, this just has like this hexagonal print. Yeah, so a lot of puzzles have these nowadays where they sort of reduce the friction, I guess, makes it feel a lot smoother. And you do that by introducing like these hexagonal grooves. I see that all the time in all like the 3x3s I have. Yeah, so I remember I did put 4 magnets in each of these sides, but once again, you can't really feel it. But you see how it does stick together, right? Oops, and of course, you're not going to be seeing any of that with this. It just falls right off. But here, the magnets are much more, obviously it's a company doing it, and so it's like much stronger attachment. And let's sort of look at the internal mechanisms. So for the LAN, oops, the internals are primary, like the core area is primary. Very little space for anything to really fit in, move around. And you have these screws that are sort of attached to this like rotating center thing. For this one, for the FTO, you have an extra piece. I don't know exactly what this is called, but it's sort of like an internal piece that makes it more stable by preventing these like loose holes where the triangles could move around, and it has a hole in it to allow for the screw for you to access the screw from the middle of each side. Of course, way smaller than we see in the other ones. Probably comparable to this one, but you can see like an interesting design. It's like there's like planes that split up the core in interesting ways. So yeah, and like the tendons were very easy to change. And like, yeah, I think this design is very interesting, and I can't wait to see where this hardware goes from here, because I think there's a lot more that could be done, right? Especially with Dian also pledging to make one soon, relatively soon. We'll cover the corner cutting and stuff like that once I finish reassembling these. Okay, before I put in this last triangle right here, I'm gonna show a little bit of how I set this puzzle up. This is like a general setup. This is how I set up most most puzzles. And I think what I'll probably do is a little bit of Traxxas 30K. Yeah, this is Traxxas 30K. Put a little bit of this. Hopefully it breaks in well. And then some DNM, I suppose. I mean, honestly, I don't really think this needs much lube. It was really nice out of the box already. But, you know, it's always nice to break in a puzzle the proper way, so. I'm gonna be very generous, or not generous, but very conservative with the amount of lube I put in. So a little bit on the track here, a little bit on the feet. Let's see. I'll like sort of put it around the magnet, do a bit of turning. Right. I'll like turn this puzzle a little bit and put lube along the way, in the foot of each piece, because there are a lot of pieces here. Along these sides. I think that's it, honestly. Oh, and then maybe I'll drop in a little bit of DNM. I'll do that once I put this piece back in. There. So loosened every side by like a tiny amount. In any case, I do think it should be loosened from factory send because it's way too tight, but it helps with like the corner cutting and all that stuff. So now I put a little bit of DNM, maybe in one of these areas. Like that, and then maybe one more place outside. Yeah. So that's all you really need. A bit of Traxxas 30K, even Traxxas 50K probably if you do enough solves to break it in, and a bit of DNM, and that's all you need. Okay, I've successfully reassembled them again, and I wanted to do a little bit of a comparison of the corner cutting. So I think a problem that FTOs suffer in general from is just generally not great corner cutting. So, you know, you're not going to have something like a 3x3 that, you know, easily corner cuts 45, or basically from any angle. Maybe one day we'll see that in FTOs, but that's definitely not the state of FTO hardware, even now with the Diansheng. So let's look at what the state of corner cutting was, you know, like 10, 15 years ago when this came out. So this actually doesn't have that bad corner cutting. It's just that the turning is terrible, but like for example, there's two types of corner cutting that we see in puzzles, forward and reverse. Forward, so I think I could do like, maybe like this much. I could do that pretty easily. And as for reverse, I don't think I could do any without completely getting destroyed, but like, you know, like the tiniest amount of corner cutting. Nah, even that it can't do. So this basically has absolutely zero reverse corner cutting. You know, but the forward is pretty good. It's like, the FTO is a little bit better, I believe. Could do close to a full triangle with like basically the corner of this corner goes all the way to the tip of this triangle. Yeah, see, it can do it. And as for reverse, it's a tiny bit better than the Diansheng, but yeah, even that it catches, and then like the triangles want to like come out. So yeah, maybe it could do like, if this corner overlaps with this spot, if this triangle overlaps with this This bottom triangle, tiny amount, like that much. No, it gets stuck with that as well. Maybe a bit less. Like if it's like right on top of it, like that. Okay, so forward corner cutting, it is pretty good actually. It's just that it's a bit tight, obviously. I loosened it a bit from stock, from like how they sounded to me from the factory. But I think this is probably the most I could do. So on par with the Rex Teal for sure. Reverse corner cutting is actually similarly bad. So if you line it up like that, yeah, I could do that fairly easily actually. Maybe a bit more like that. No, that it struggles with that. Like it won't be able to do like this much, for example. But like maybe like that or something. No, can't do that. Yeah, so essentially, these have similar performances in terms of corner cutting. This is just unspeakably bad. But I like to say that corner cutting isn't everything. You can have amazing corner cutting, but the cube might be very bad. Might be not even speed solvable, or it might have really bad corner cutting, but it actually is really good. So let's compare the turning. Okay, so this is like even now while I'm recording this, it's still the only mass-produced puzzle that you can easily buy at a store, at like some cubing store, and this is just absolutely dreadful. It's like very slow, very stocky. Like it's like hard to even make turns. You know what I mean? It's like locking up almost every move. Not locking up because of the internal mechanisms like clashing, but it's just like there's so much friction on the pieces, even despite it not even being that tight. It's this is definitely how 3x3s were, like well before the Dian came out with anything good. Like the Guhong practically revolutionized everything. This is like pre-Guhong level badness, right? It makes you want to just throw it at the wall, just how bad it is. Yeah, this is actually the first. So this is a custom puzzle, right? This is made by 3D printing parts and attaching them to a relatively modern puzzle. Like the base puzzle of this is the Chi Rex Cube, right? The Super Ivy, and that came out, I think maybe around 2020 or so. Like it's not even that old, maybe 2019 or something like that. They can probably show like right there when it really did come out. But in any case, it's much more modern than the Lan, and it's like one of the first ones that actually doesn't make you want to rip your hair out and like throw it out immediately. One issue is that obviously it's 3D printed, and the piece designs are a bit rough, right? You can even see in this corner there's like a little bit of unevenness, roughness. The corners don't exactly fit together really nicely, and you can even see the surface of the cube. It's like that characteristic 3D printed look. So there's like ridges going in grooves going in one direction, and that causes the pieces to not really flow across each other that smoothly. And so you end up having a very loud, clacky puzzle that does get the job done, but it's a bit rough around the edges. Like this, obviously, like the Lan is a mass-produced puzzle, so it's not going to come with any of that sort of roughness, that DIY-ness of 3D printed puzzles. Although, actually, even though I do say that, there's a piece I found that had some leftover roughness from the factory. I thought it was green, and I'm not seeing it right now. Like that sort of stuff, it's very easily forgivable. You even see that in normal puzzles, so it's fine. Yeah, but if you look at like this quality is so nice. It's like very smooth. It's not exactly UV coated, but yeah. So about the turning, very smooth, especially now with the lube I put in. Yeah, okay, so comparing this, right, you can tell it is pretty smooth, not gonna lie, but doing turns on adjacent faces, one after the other, is very difficult, right? Like here, it gets caught. I don't even know why I can't turn this. Yeah, okay, there. And the same would happen to this, although much less, at a much lower frequency. But like you can turn it pretty fast. But like there would be a lot of catches I would have, even while turning pretty accurately, for no reason. But I don't have any of that with this, because it just flows so well, very smooth. This is by far the smoothest FTO that I felt. The magnetic bumps are very noticeable. I'm trying to see if you can notice it at all here. Yeah, there's like a tiny amount of difference in feeling. Like it's sort of attractive, but not really. Like you can't really feel the magnet. Obviously this doesn't have magnets, so we don't have to talk about that. Yeah, much quieter. There's, it basically turns how you would expect a puzzle from, the last couple of years to turn. Obviously it's 3x3, So what I've noticed is that I'm actually able to do a lot more different piece turns that I wasn't able to do before. Because like before, when people grew up with a land and maybe they modded it with foreign holes, so it's a bit better for turning. A lot of people didn't even do like left index U primes, right? They had to like do right thumb moves like that. Here, there are some people who do right hand thumb for U primes, but generally there's a lot more range and movement. You could do B, BR like that. You do F like F like that. But D's, it's kind of hard to do it, with your ring finger. So I always did D moves with like wrist turn sort of thing, right? But here, for the first time, I'm actually able to turn these layers like you would a normal 3x3. So for like while I'm scrambling, even for certain moves, I think if you see my 28-second solve that I posted separately, actually one of the moves I did actually was like a D move with a ring, and that's like I've literally never done that before. For scrambling, I'm also able to like say I'm like in this orientation, I just did a B and a U, and then now it's an F. Instead of having to rotate and do that, or like regrip and do that, I could just do that, right? And that's something I was never able to do before. It just makes scrambling so much nicer. So, I'm already able to do a bit of that, like D prime in scrambles I can now do with my right index. One huge difference between solving this and solving the FTO is that maybe like once a solve or so, maybe once or twice a solve, I would not be able to make a move because one of the triangles sort of gets loose, right? It's like about to come off, and like doing the move would cause it to catch on an adjacent edge or something. So like I'd like struggle for a bit trying to turn. Yeah, like this for example. So, I was trying to turn there, but this red triangle sort of caught like that. I was not able to do that. I don't even recall experiencing that a single time, and I did like around 40 to 43 solves on this. So it's like a huge thing. Obviously I do get lockups, but that's due to like trying to turn in an inaccurate fashion, not due to like this sort of triangle pop-up thing, which is, in my opinion, out of my control. So I'm able to turn a bit more freely, but I'm still very used to solving on the FTO because I've solved it for years now, so it's hard to adjust your turning style in an instant. About the color scheme, okay, so here's like the difference in the color schemes, right? I believe the only difference between these two is that the red and green are swapped, right? So like if you look at everything else, like this gray, white, yellow's on the bottom, blue, orange, purple, and then red and green are just swapped. So it's, if you're used to solving this, then this would actually be very easy to learn. I found that and as for these two, besides pink being replaced with purple, you start off sort of similar. So you have red here, blue, orange, but then now it's green, and now it's purple instead of green, and that came from here. But then instead of yellow, it's green now, and the yellow goes here, and instead of pink here, it's light green. So basically, you sort of have like a 4 cycle of 1, 2, 3, 4 of these sides sort of cycled around. So as in like this pink would go all the way up here, and then this green would go here, this yellow would go here, and then the gray would go there. So it did take a bit of getting used to. So the smaller size definitely helps, I think. I'm able to turn really fast on it. I do like smaller puzzles. Like for example, like I really like the trend of cubes like 6x6 and 7x7 getting smaller and smaller. Like I don't know if you guys have seen how tiny the 7x7 is, like the Meilong V2. That cube is really tiny. It's like barely bigger than a 3x3. And I was like, it is really nice to have like a more compact puzzle because my hands aren't the biggest. Yeah, but this cube is really, really nice, really smooth, very tactile magnets. I love strong magnets. My main 3x3 is now the WRM V10, and this is, look at the auto alignment here. It's insane. Very strong magnets as well. So I like puzzles like that. Yeah, so overall, I really enjoy this puzzle. I'm so glad that Diansheng actually made this. They got together and got the priorities straight. And obviously FTO should be the next event to make it into the WCA. Hashtag FTO for WCA. And I really hope, if you're even remotely interested in something like this, like a completely new solving experience, very nice puzzle to solve. There's a huge, okay, it's not a huge community, but there's a very passionate community, let's say, around this. You should join the Discord. I'll link that in the description for sure. Yeah, and like when this comes out, I assume it'll probably be like $18-19 on places like Speedcube Shop and thecubicle.com. So I definitely recommend picking it up. Mark my words, this will become a WCA event. Maybe it won't happen next year or this year, but certainly by 2026, 2027, I can definitely see it picking up a lot of steam. And I really want you guys to do your part in helping that happen. So if you're able to get this puzzle, that'll be very nice. Let me know what you think about this puzzle. Like, if you think you'll get it, I just love to hear your thoughts. I love this puzzle so much. I'm so active in the Discord, like it's crazy. Like that's like my favorite Discord that I'm in, and I'm in like almost all the cubing Discord. So like I'm like everywhere, right? Yeah. So that's pretty much all I have to say about this puzzle. Very fortunate to have been one of the first people to get it. Yeah. Hope you guys enjoy this review. This sort of long, just basically me yapping about this puzzle.